Hi, I'm Nicholeen Peck, and I teach all over the world about parenting, good communication, how to build strong family bonds, child development, and education, all through the lens of the principle self-government. And in this video, I have some child behavior solutions for you. In this video, we're going to talk about some child behavior problems that are pretty common that you might be dealing with, and then we're going to talk about some solutions that can have some long-lasting effect and really get to what the root of the problem is. Let's talk about behavior problems. There really are so many behavioral problems that we can discuss, but let's talk about some of our main ones, maybe ones that lead to children falling into even more extreme behaviors. So what are some of those commonplace child behaviors? We might have lying. Why would a person lie? Let's think about that. Is it because they don't know how to communicate in a way that they will be understood? Is it because that they're worried about an emotional pushback from somebody else? Maybe if their parent finds out that they made a bad choice, that they are going to get some emotional repercussions for that from their parent. And so in order to protect themselves, they're going to tell a lie. So here we go, we're at self-protection. That's why the majority of people choose to tell lies. So what do you do instead? What if you teach your child that it's okay to accept a consequence? In fact, what if you make it completely safe to accept consequences? It's not emotional at all. You have a certain script that you follow when you correct a child. Consequences are very predictable. You've got an app that helps factor out those consequences for you. They know what's on the app. And by the way, the app is the Teaching Self-Government app. If you're worried about that, there's a cool job jar on there to help with extra chores, which are my favorite negative consequences for a variety of reasons, but mostly because they're so helpful and beneficial for character for children, because work is the antidote for a sick character. And when they're misbehaving, usually we're talking about a character problem that's occurring. So if your child had the teaching self-government skill of disagreeing appropriately, and if they knew that accepting a consequence was safe, then they wouldn't need to lie to you. Also, do they recognize that lying is basically not dropping the subject in your head? So you probably know lying is a no answer, but each time you choose to do it, you're not dropping the subject. That means you're not accepting a no answer. They would need to be corrected for that. So often we put up with behaviors like lying and stuff like that. We don't actually correct them. We're not consistent. And if we don't consistently give feedback on the negative behaviors, then guess what? They don't stop, because somewhere along the line it served the child. That's why they decided to use it. And if we're inconsistent, sometimes they work, sometimes we get worn down, and then sometimes they don't. We micromanage. They're still going to keep trying them every time, because they're going to be wondering, is this the time when it's going to work? What's another behavioral problem? Well, what about laziness? Laziness is a massive behavioral problem. If your child were to learn how to follow instructions and they also knew how to disagree appropriately and accept consequences, which are 3 of the 4 basic skills of self-government, then their laziness problem could change. Also, they need to be invested in the family dynamic in order to care about what's going on at home. Have you done too much for them? Have you not taught them how to work? Do you have family work where you work together as a group, but also do they have individual chores and jobs that they do? And are you afraid of extra chores? Because you shouldn't be. Those can also be very beneficial for building a person's confidence and teaching them that work is no big deal. It's just part of life. What's another negative behavior? Well, another negative behavior that a lot of children display is talking back or arguing, being disrespectful with their parents. Why would they be doing that? Could it be because they feel misunderstood? That might be the case. That's probably the root cause. They feel like that they're more mature now. They want to be respected. Maybe they even think more deep and clear thoughts, but they don't think that they're being given the credit that they need for how mature they actually are. So how could they help be more understood? How could they help their parent seek to understand them more? Well, here we go with the skill disagreeing appropriately again. The skill skill disagreeing appropriately, which is one of the 4 basic skills of self-government, is what I call the gateway skill to self-government. If a person can learn how to disagree appropriately with somebody else and do it in a calm way, they can actually solve the majority of their problems. Now, this is a seek to understand, then to be understood skill, which means it's not just about telling what you think and what you want to somebody else with a calm voice. There's more to it than that. So when your child is talking back to you, they're trying to tell you their perspective. They're trying to get that understanding from you. That's why they're saying something back. Maybe they're impulsive, maybe they've got a little bit of anxiety bubbling up, which is why they consistently do it. But really, it's because they just want you to know something. There's a way you can help them learn to get your attention that way, and that is by using that skill disagreeing appropriately. It should work for them a lot, meaning working to get your attention, not necessarily always getting their way. There is a kind of a magic formula there, and if you ever can show them that it will help them get their way, all the better, because if disagreeing appropriately works, then they won't go to those other negative behaviors a lot. Here's another thing. Sometimes they interrupt, they nag, they whine, they complain, they ask things again and again, they're not patient. That's another child behavior that can be a real big problem. That can often occur because a parent is detached, they're not engaged. The number one step of all of the skills of self-government is to look at the person. It's to establish a connection with them so that you can have that bonding, that feeling of attachment that is so important for receiving messages, for feeling understood, for getting a sense of belonging, for strengthening that relationship, and for solving your problems. So looking at the person's important. That means you're probably going to have to put that device down on a regular basis. Make sure that your children know you will take the time to talk with them, especially if they get your attention the right way. And that disagree appropriately skill, that's the right way. There's so many problems that can be solved with the simple, predictable skills of teaching self-government. The beautiful thing about teaching somebody a self-government skill is that self-government is a principle. That means that if they learn how to govern themselves, it can be a way of life. It can change their very core. It can change their heart. This means that that skill of self-government can actually be long-lasting. It can help them, no matter their age, to succeed in their relationships, to solve problems, and to be better understood. I'd like to share with you more about the vital principle of self-government and how to use it in your parenting by teaching you more of the skills of self-government in my next video called The Not So Known Secret for Parenting Success. Click on the link to that video next. I'll see you there.